news, sports, education, and entertainment. Wake Up GI with Jeffrey Smith. Brought to you by the Gary Community Schools Corporation.
All right, everybody, we are back. Once again, it is a beautiful Thursday. It is a beautiful Thursday. Whoa, pull that mic over just a little. Let me cut you down. There you go. All right, I'll get that set in just a bit. But, of course, it's a beautiful Thursday. It is the 26th of October, 2023. This is Wake Up GI with Jeffrey Smith. We're about to talk to two individuals, and we're going to talk credit counseling. Before the break, I kind of teased that I have to ask whenever she comes in the studio exactly, pull your mic over a little bit that way. There you go. I have to ask exactly what we're talking about today because she wears a lot of different hats, and without getting into the story, because we talked about the last time when you were wearing one of your other hats, that I got an opportunity to meet you at a very good time, or at a very, I guess, I'm not going to say it was dark, but it was a very scary time. I think I'll use that word in my personal life, and I was kind of tasked with doing something that, you know, I had never done before. I didn't know if I was up to, and I got introduced to Alfreda, and she absolutely helped me get through it, and I'm eternally grateful to her for that, and I consider there's a lifelong connection going forward because of her availability and, you know, her understanding for helping me through a very difficult time. So I'm always open to whatever she's up to, and as I said, she wears a lot of different hats. I got an opportunity to meet this gentleman briefly. We talked, who got here early. He got here early, and he was kind of giving me the little rundown about what he does. I guess you sit on the board of directors for the credit union.
Yes, I do.
I didn't look at you. And he's throwing events. And so I want him to introduce himself, and then we'll come to you, Alfreda, and so we'll talk about what we're going to go today. Go ahead.
All right, thank you for this opportunity. My name is David Lewis. I represent Sons of David, but today I'm here representing Pro Finance Credit Union.
Yeah.
But I'll talk a little bit about Sons of David first. Sons of David is a real estate company here in the city of Gary, Indiana, where we lease out houses to just people who wants to lease. But we also have a couple other things going on. Just last Saturday, we did a scholarship. Our company gives out scholarships to Northwest Indiana students. We did it at the Chateau. We gave out we gave about $4,500 in scholarships out over the weekend, and something that we do every year. This is our third year, so we're actually looking forward to next year to do some more scholarships in the Northwest Indiana area. The scholarship is filtered through the Gary Community Schools through the Urban League, and it's filtered out, and that's how we pick our candidates.
Yeah, we're going to come back and pick your brain, because you got a lot of stuff going on too, but I want to go over to our girl right here, Alfreda. Reintroduce yourself to the audience and tell us what you're up to.
Hey, Wake Up GI. So I'm Alfreda.
Yes.
I'm the owner and founder of Travail with Us, LLC.
Yeah.
Travail with Us is an in-home care company that service Northwest Indiana. We service people from hospice clients unto people just homebound.
Right.
We also have transportation. We do CPR classes. We do CNA training. And we're just here loving this world, loving to help people, and loving our community.
Then how long? I remember when you were just getting started. That was like your first client.
When
you first started. You've been in business for a minute now. You're doing good stuff.
Yes, I am, and I'm excited.
Yeah. How many clients how many employees do you have right now?
Now we're at 90 employees.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wasn't
You're gonna make me jump for joy here.
Goodness. Because your son, you had a couple of wonderful people that were helping you out. You were putting it together, and I didn't even remember one time your son was helping you out. Now you're up to 90 employees.
And guess what? My son is now a driver.
Oh my goodness.
He's one of the lead drivers for the transportation company.
Absolutely.
He's out at 5 a.m. picking up clients, taking them back and forth to dialysis. Very reliable young man. I'm thankful and I'm grateful.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So today we're talking a little bit credit counseling. That's kind of a theme that we've got going on in our community. But, it's not just limited to our community, but we talk about financial literacy, kind of going out here trying to watch our credit so we can kind of build the wealth and take care of our families in the manner in which we want to responsibly. So I'll start with either one of you who want to kind of tell us what it is that you all are into and what you're offering as far as that's concerned. Go ahead, David. You're the real estate mogul.
Go, David, go.
Well, what it is that through the credit union that we are offering the financial literacy courses, and what it is it's basically helping you establish credit, get credit, and maintain good credit. Yeah. Because the education system, as far as what we learn about money doesn't teach us what we need
No, it
to
doesn't.
prepare in life. So the reason why they don't do that, my theory is the reason why they don't teach a lot of us about money is because they feel like you're not going to have any. So why take time to teach you about something that they feel like you're not going to have any?
Right. That's one theory. I got another one to add, but go ahead and finish.
So one of the things is that our job in this community and our community is to educate our young people
Yes.
and older people so they can have the finances available to buy homes, multiple homes,
Right.
and multiple cars, so they can live on a level that they see
Yeah.
on social media, TV, and not just
The American dream.
yeah, just not just say something or not just put up fake money,
Right.
but actually have real money in the bank and have real houses, have real
Right.
cars, and be able to help other people. And if you teach them, then they can bring it to their next generation, their next generation. But a lot of our generation doesn't know about it, so therefore we can't teach our kids about it.
No, let me just ask you a question and kind of add to that, because I agree with exactly everything you said. And I normally don't get out of here and kind of get into where, if the government is necessarily targeting a certain demographic, but I've always kind of asked politicians this. One of the things that I think that has kind of become a little bit, I guess, weighted against the black community is credit rating, our credit scores. And, to your point, I think one of the things that why we need to educate ourselves and our young people about this, what you all are doing, is because for the most part, we live a lot of our lives as consumers. And I think that is one of the things that the government and that business counts on, is that we kind of go out here and spend well beyond our means. We don't necessarily kind of know how to kind of balance our checkbooks and kind of buy responsibly.
Right.
So they count on us getting into debt
Right.
and then that sets us up for things like high interest loans
Right.
and these predatory type of things that come in our community. So I think what you're doing is absolutely right on time. It's long overdue, and I'm glad two smart people are out here doing this thing. So go ahead, Alfreda. I want you to jump in on
Right.
that.
So how I became a part of this, as being an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
a lot of times we don't think credit is important.
Right.
So I had to go to the credit union, and as my business began to blossom,
Right.
I began to purchase transportation vehicles.
Right.
So with that being said, I ran into the lady at the credit union by the name of Lindsay, very nice lady
Right.
at Pro Finance Credit Union. And she said, Alfreda, why don't you join our board of directors? So I said, well, Lindsay, I'm busy running the company. I'm no longer the director of nursing, but I'm very busy. She said, Alfreda, I think you would do great. So then she later introduced me to David.
Right.
As she introduced me to David, at that time, I was given the free CNA class, the CNA class at no cost.
Right.
So you have a lot of young people coming in there, Jeffrey. And a lot of times when they come in there, they're in financial deficit.
Right.
And they're dealing with things. So I look at life as a new beginning.
Yeah.
So if this is a new beginning for you, a new step, a new career for you, why not bring on David, and David come in and he educate the students
Right.
as well as educating people in our community on financial literacy,
Right.
just to teach them how to save a little,
Yes.
put this up. It don't have to be a lot, but it's just a little bit, and then how that will grow and grow and grow.
Right.
So with that being said, David had the opportunity to come in and speak with the students at Travail,
Yeah.
and he began to educate them on financial literacy
Right.
and the importance of this course.
Right.
Okay. So now, what we're doing is having a class at our location at Travail with us, the first Thursday of each month for the next 6 months.
Right, nice. And I want to get back to you, Dave, as well, because when we talk about financial literacy, and listen, I have no problems admitting that I was a little late to the party as far as being financially mature. I mean, I can just remember my mother and my father trying to ingrain a lot of things to me when I was younger, and I was just like, yeah, whatever, okay, fine. But then you have to kind of go out here and live in the real world, and you all probably appreciate this as entrepreneurs, and that is the concept of paying yourself first after you get your check. And the reason I kind of bring that up is because, a guy that I know, I was in the bank a couple of weeks ago, and a guy that I know was bringing his son in there. And his son was like about 23, 24. And he was kind of talking with one of my wife and I friends who is actually a banker at this branch. And I was just kind of listening, and it was very informative because this gentleman did not know exactly about how to go about dealing with a check. He didn't know about this is how the millennials are, because we forget that they're always texting. He didn't even know how to do his signature and just everything. And his dad was trying to explain to him, don't take all of that money out right now, because he's looking to cash that and put it in his wallet. And so when I think about financial literacy and I listen to people like yourself, I go back into my mind's eye, and you know that's how you set yourself up for bad habits of living check to check. No matter how much you make, if you're spending everything at one time, you're not helping yourself.
Right. So a lot of times is that it's more of a generational thing. I'll often tell people it's not that other people are smarter than you when it comes to finances. They've just been taught earlier.
Right.
And so by the time you learn about it, they've been knowing about it for the last 20 years.
They've been living it.
And so they say the average is, they say what you're supposed to do is have your house paid off by 40. Most of us don't even own a house by
40. Who's they that say that? Yeah, who is this they?
You know, this is what, you read about, oh, you're supposed to have a house. But the reality of it is we want to try to get them in on the baseline, because if we can get them to understand what credit and money is, then we can teach things about money market accounts, mutual funds, 401ks, 403bs. We can kind of tell them about what the market does and what it looks like, but you got to understand money and you got to understand how it works, because a lot of people think money is meant to be spent.
No.
But money is meant to be saved and invested. It's not meant to be spent. And so in our community, we're taught to be consumers and not producers.
That's where, there you go.
So everything we get, we feel like we have to spend.
Right.
And so by the time we catch up in life, we 40, 45, 50 years old, and we don't have anything, and now retirement is around the corner and we don't have anything.
But let me ask you this, because, aren't there forces out there? Because everything you're saying is right, and it's really the gospel. And so that is something that I do think certain people hear versus kind of the main population, because this they that tells me that we should have our house paid out by 40 is the very same they that sends Tom Selleck and all these other people in commercials telling me to refinance my home so I can put my house right back out there on in the mortgage line.
Yeah.
So we have to understand we live in a consumer-based capitalist society, and so it's a constant fight to try to keep our money in our pockets when there's so many things that's trying to separate it from us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We they pretty much when you're young, they just pretty much tease you.
They do.
And so if you don't come from a family of financial strength, then you'll make those mistakes. And then you have to go into the whole credit repair situation. And that takes years, because a lot of people doesn't know credit scores, credit history that tells about who you are as a person. And so when you go and try to get a loan for anything, whether it's a house or car, most people I was asking in our freeze class, the young folks, I asked them, have you ever seen a credit report? They never seen a credit report.
Right.
Do you know what credit scores are? They don't know what credit scores are. So this is stuff that's taught to some people when they're younger. And I told them, I said, don't be embarrassed or ashamed that you don't know it. You just wasn't taught it.
Right.
It's not your fault. You just wasn't taught it.
Yeah.
So we're here to teach you this so you won't make the same mistakes that we've made and get a late start. You can get an earlier start. And so about 40, 50, 35, you can have your house, you can have your car, you can have money, and you'll know how money operates and know how money works.
Yeah.
And you can, some people want to know how to be, wants to be entrepreneurs.
Right.
But it takes money.
Yeah, it does.
So how do you get started? You got to have good credit.
You have to. Let me ask you, I want both of you to weigh in on this, because as you were talking, and we're talking about why this is generational, I instantly go back to my grandfather on my father's side, who he and his brothers came up here from Natchez, Mississippi, ended up working in the mill. My grandfather did well for himself, built his own house, sent my father and his brother to college. But I remember at a young age, maybe I was about 5 or 6, and there used to be a car dealership called Townsend Pontiac. It was on Broadway. And my dad and my mother were about to buy a car, and I remember my grandfather, I can still vividly remember this, talk about that he didn't want my dad and us to go out here and pay a car note. I mean, they came up, he had such a philosophy that if you could, I guess they called it on time back in the day or things like that, but if you couldn't afford it, then you don't go ahead and buy it because you don't want to be in debt to anybody. Then it just seems like that philosophy got thrown out of the window in my generation, and now we live in a world with credit card debt. We live in a world where we're student loan debt, all this kind of stuff going on. And so what you're talking about is how we navigate in this new world we live in. And I'm trying to wonder, maybe sometimes we should go back to some of the old philosophies as well. Thoughts?
I think so. I think so, because I often run into people every time you turn around, they're shopping, and there's nothing wrong with rewarding yourself. Please don't get me wrong. But then you still have to find a way to make ends meet.
Right.
So it's nothing wrong with going back to your old roots.
Right.
It's okay because what the old roots teach you is a humbling beginning.
Right.
It humbles you. It teaches you.
Yeah.
So it's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I do. And with some of the younger people, I think, we've just evolved into a microwave society where, you see a lot of younger people, or you see people in general that kind of want the end game now. You know what I mean? They want to go out here and, you know, they might be still kind of in mid-level management at their job and things like that, but they want that Porsche, and that's just what they want, and they're going to drive it. They're going to go out here and get that $60,000 Escalade and all these other material things because there's a psychological aspect to making them feel good. They get a lot, I guess, a dopamine rush. But let's get back to what you all are out here providing in the services, because I think, once again, I think this is important. Is it just relegated to young people, or have you expanded it to all stratas of the community?
It's actually open to anyone. We're targeting younger people because of their future.
Right, makes sense.
But it's actually for anyone who wants to attend the class. Like I said, it's first Thursday. It's only an hour and a half tops.
Right.
And we're going to go through stuff like what is credit, what is money,
right,
what is credit scores,
right,
how does credit works.
Yeah.
We're going to every class. We're going to hit different subjects to kind of give you an overall picture of what your credit and money can do, because no one, I don't care what they advertise on TV, no one is going to give you money with bad credit at a low interest rate. It just doesn't work like that.
Right.
And so a lot of times when you're young, you believe a lot of stuff on TV that comes up and says, you know, come in, get the house, no money, car, no money down. You know, you hear that. That's you know, they need to understand what reality is.
Yeah.
Reality is that you need to be responsible as a young adult, and even us at our age need to be responsible and don't do so much emotional spending.
There you go. I like that word.
Stop doing emotional spending, because we're about to enter the holiday season. So people gonna get in their feelings.
It's like going to the grocery store hungry.
Yeah, they're gonna get in their feelings, and then they're gonna use the old theory where I can max this out and then I get my taxes in.
Yes.
Not that one.
You know, you got to bear some responsibility on improvement in your credit, because not only does it improve your credit and your finance, it improves your life as a person. It teaches you how to be responsible.
Yeah.
Doesn't
it start at the kind of basic molecule of, you know, I think back to, once again, I apologize to my parents who were looking at me that not necessarily paying attention, but doesn't it come to like the simple basic aspect of balancing a checkbook?
It does come to that. Unfortunately, they don't balance checkbooks anymore like they used to. But they have so many things online that, you know, they can tell you.
Well, I mean,
you know,
the
you're spending
concept
the concept. Yeah. And it's hard to get. It's hard to get people, not just young people, but it's hard to get people to understand that what they see is not reality.
Thank you.
Because of what they see. I mean, they're looking at it with their own eyes.
Right.
So you're trying to tell them that their eyes is playing tricks on them, and the reality of it is when you go out that door into the real world, this is what we look at.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Go ahead, Alfred, please.
I was just saying, too, it's important, and I'm excited because I'm going to sit in on the class because I'm going to be working, and it's at our location.
Right.
But I'm excited to see what David brings to this table because, too, it's also teaches self-control.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from this.
And one more thing I'm going to say, it's never too late. So it's okay to be a late bloomer.
Yeah.
So if someone is not of a young age, older people could come to the class, whoever, because anyone can change their life. Your life can change overnight.
Yeah.
So our goal is to educate, create, and teach a strategy.
Yeah.
You know, and strategize a plan. So I'm excited to see David in action.
Now, I want to get into the logistics of your classes and when this is going to be offered so people can obviously attend. But you know what we do here, I want you to give me a brief introduction about who you are, because this is interesting. Obviously, I could talk for an hour. You know that. So I know we're limited on time. So David, if you can, give us a little bit of your background, please.
Okay, well, I'm a recipient of Gary Schools.
Okay. Now, well, you know the rules, Dan. So go ahead and tell me your pedigree. What school you went to?
I went to
Started elementary. I'm concerned.
Vore.
All right, there you go.
Beveridge.
Okay.
Beckman.
All right, you're a smart
and then
guy.
I graduated from Horseman.
Oh, you know what? Listen, I have a couple of friends that have graduated from Horseman.
Here we go.
You're a nice guy. I'm not going to take the obvious low-hanging fruit shot if you don't have a football field or any of that stuff.
Oh,
God bless you. Thanks for your service. But anyway, go ahead. And so after you graduated from high school, what were your next moves?
went to Ivy Tech.
Okay.
And then I went to IUN.
Yes.
And then I got into U.S. Steel.
Oh.
And I've been at U.S. Steel for the last 28 years.
All right, so you are one of those smart people that have come out. I met one, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just playing. We definitely appreciate you. And give a quick background with you, Alfreda. Most of our audience already knows who you are. I definitely do, but please reintroduce yourself.
I love it. I'm Alfreda. I am the owner and the founder of Travail with Us. I am a nurse.
Yes.
And I love people. I love people.
She generally does. This is her personality all the time.
All the time.
Yes.
I love people. I love what I do. We're located 5429 Broadway now. We're there 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily.
Yeah.
Sometimes my staff just come in, get a cup of coffee, and enjoy themselves and get a hug from Alfreda. So I love Alfreda, GI.
Absolutely. Well, you didn't give us an opportunity to give your business plug. That's what we do.
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, my name of my company is Sons of David. It's called Sons of David because I have 4 boys.
What?
Yes.
No way,
I have
man.
4 boys that's all in college.
No,
Amen.
no way. No way. You got 4 kids that are in college.
4 boys in college. The oldest is studying law. The second oldest is studying business. The third oldest is studying education. The fourth oldest is studying finance.
You know what that is to me? A 401k for you.
Yes.
You've already kind of set yourself up to be taken care of when you get in your old age. I see your plan. But good job, man. 4 boys all out there
4
doing
boys.
stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And so let's kind of come back and talk about the event that we're talking about. Is there a date? Give us some logistics about that.
The credit union?
Yeah, the credit union.
Okay, so the first class is actually this coming Thursday. Well, pretty much almost a week from today, which is Friday, Thursday.
The first Thursday in November.
November 2nd is the first Thursday, and it's going to be the first Thursdays at Frida's Place, which is Travail on 54th and Broadway.
Yes.
It's going to be from 5 to 6:30.
Yeah.
And we're going to, and actually it's going to be very good because we're going to actually have a lot of our financing are done in-house.
Yeah.
So Lindsay and Amanda and some people that work in there that makes the decisions, they're going to talk from their point of view as to what they look at. And I'm going to talk from a consumer and a producer point of view.
Yeah.
So what you can qualify in order to get the loan. So she's going to tell you what you need to have.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you how to get it so you can get the loan.
Now, is this something that's going to happen in a series, or is it just, well, you just said it's going to be first Thursdays of every month. Is this going to involve workshopping and things of that? What's the class look like?
The class looks like it's going to be for 6 months.
Yeah.
And it is going to be a / workshop type of class because there will be a little bit of homework. Like one of the classes I'm going to say, next time you show up for class, you need to have your credit report. But I'm going to give you the 3 different credit unions in order to get your credit report.
Right.
So you can bring it up to class so you can see what your own credit report looks like.
Yeah.
And then we can start from there because we kind of got to start from scratch.
You do.
And then you can kind of know how the numbers look and how the credit history looks because all of that is taken into consideration when you're getting a loan.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so what a lot of people don't understand is that the lower your credit scores are, the more you're going to get denied and the higher your credit, your interest rate is going to be. And so we want to make sure that we get a good, smooth credit history.
Right.
And raise the scores up.
Yeah.
And so therefore, when you walk into something,
you're not high risk.
I'll say this one thing. And I always say this to people when I talk about credit. I'm not a fan of Credit Karma. The reason why I'm not a fan of Credit Karma.
All right, I'll delete it off my phone.
Yeah. The reason why, it's an overall view, which is true. But when you go into the bank and you sit in front of them on the other side of the computer, they're not pulling up Credit Karma.
You want to know what Credit Karma, why it's attractive, okay, before I delete it. Let me tell you why people get sucked into it. Because a lot of times when you're out here trying to at least hover around and get an idea where your credit is, they ding you up.
Yes, they do.
They ding you for even looking at your credit. And so when you get these little apps that promise, hey, we're going to give you alerts.
Right.
We're going to monitor it. You're like, you know what? Okay, maybe so. I'll get notifications. But, okay, I'm coming around to the other side, and so I will delete it after you leave.
And they have apps for TransUnion, Equifax. They have apps for that.
Yeah,
it's just the Credit Karma is so attractive,
it's so
you say. So people automatically use Credit Karma. And I always like for people to know what the bank is looking at.
Yeah.
So on the other side, they're not looking at Credit Karma. They're looking at TransUnion, Equifax. They're looking at that. Yeah. You need to be looking at what they're looking at.
Right. Yeah.
Because what happens is what they say something on your credit report, you have this confused look on your face.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
You're like, what? Where did
that come from? What are you talking about?
So you need to be looking at exactly what they're looking at. And you need to be able to answer every question because they're going to be detailed about what's on your credit report. And then they may consider you high risk and may not want to do it. And they say, we'll do it to you for 18%.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole nother show. I know we got to kind of get moved on. I want you to reiterate the date coming up next Thursday, the first Thursday in November. Give us the time. Is there a cost involved?
Okay, so the starting date is next Thursday, November 2nd.
Yes.
At 5 o'clock from 5 to 6 or 5 to 6:30. The cost is, you have to be a member of the credit union, which is on 7800 Broadway. It's $5 to open up an account.
Oh.
And then we place a $50 hold. You get it back at the end of the class, but we place a $50 hold just to hold your space in the class.
Yeah.
Okay? And once the class is over with, we give you the $50 back and to guarantee you a small loan to get you started.
Oh, all right. That's the good news. You saw my eyebrows. I'm like, okay, this $50 hold. But now I get a little bit of loan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You might got a new pupil in there.
Yeah.
No, but I just really want to say, I know we got to kind of get out of here, but I really want to say this has been an absolute pleasure. You already know, Alfreda. Once again, I can't tell you enough. But it was so nice meeting you, Dave.
Likewise.
There's no way you have 4 kids. We'll talk later. We got to know how that happened, and let alone in college. But it's been a pleasure, man, and I think what you're doing is awesome.
Yes.
And please come back on the show and let's talk more in depth.
Absolutely.
All right, there you go. That was just absolutely amazing. We're going to take a break. When we come back in just a bit, we've got our next guest coming up.